reports.
The town hall meeting was one of its kind. It availed the youth an opportunity of interface with members of the Federal Executive Council. Top on the agenda is job cuts and losses occasioned by the recession facing the economy.
Profligacy, mismanagement of funds, massive corruption, and lack of investment in social investment programs. We did not create today's hardship, but we are resolved to end it and make life more abundant for our people.
Recession means that we have stopped producing. We are having negative growth. It means that we must roll up our sleeves and work very hard.
Curbing wastages and leakages, value addition and diversification were among the issues addressed.
What we intend to do is to make Nigeria's economy more resilient so the oil price doesn't hit us the way it has hit us.
Our programs in this government to fight unemployment, which figure has, unfortunately risen.
Right now, we have a program with the ASO Savings Group of 15,000 hectares of farmland in Kwali. We're partnering with them to start clearing land from the middle of January.
Now, our major mandate is to focus on the issue of youth development and sport.
They gave an assurance that government policies will always.
The president said about 150,000 refugees have also returned from across the borders. As he puts it, our sleeves are now rolled up to face the challenges head-on, along with the nation's strategic partners, including the United Nations. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Mr. Filippo Grandi, said he is leaving Nigeria with a conviction that things are under control. In his words, a lot remains to be done, but I see excellent work being done by the authorities. I have seen the protection given to the rights and privileges of civilians in the Northeast, and this is commendable. The United Nations, Mr. Grandi said, would always be willing to assist Nigeria with resources and the needed expertise to resettle displaced persons. Meanwhile, the Senate leader, Mohamed Ali Ndume, who also interacted with the president behind closed doors, told newsmen that the nomination of Ibrahim Magu as chairman of the EFCC was not rejected by the Senate, describing media reports to that effect as erroneous.
Let me say categorically that the Senate did not reject Ibrahim Magu as the chairman. What happened was that when we slated his confirmation for Thursday, then we had an issue or a letter from the Department of State Security that could not allow us to continue with the confirmation without further clarification. I want that to come out very clearly.
He said the Senate has also not concluded action on his committee's findings regarding the allegations of wrongdoing by the SGF, Babachir David Lawan. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In other news, the Gambian coalition party says it is optimistic that President Yahya Jammeh will ensure smooth transition of power at the expiration of his tenure on the 19th of next month. The special envoy of the president-elect, Adama Barrow, to Nigeria, gave the indication in Abuja, as reported by Delia Tubi.
Who is a member of the coalition opposition party through which the president-elect won the 1st December election, said outgoing President Yahya Jammeh has the right to challenge the outcome of the election at the Supreme Court, a case that must be disposed of within 30 days. Fati, however, said the Supreme Court, which should adjudicate over the matter with at least a 5-member panel, has just one justice as at date. Fati said the incoming government will continue to honor and respect the rights of the outgoing president as a leader who has contributed his quota to the advancement of the Gambia.
Particularly in the areas of checking violation of electoral laws.
We are asking for electoral reform that will ensure that these politicians are checked. We're also asking for politicians that to stop in their evil ways and make this country a better place for all of us. But what do you do when the voter actively solicits for his vote to be bought I'm not talking about the politician saying, come, I'll buy. I'm saying the voter is actively asking, where are they, who is paying more? That is the trend. How do you legislate on attitudes?
The group advised that special attention be accorded to persons with disabilities during voting, an improvement on simultaneous accreditation and voting, collection of results and privacy of voters. In Abuja, Abdullahi Gerba Berunkudu, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has vowed to bring to book all political perpetrators across the nation. It was in a message in reaction to a demand by the National Support Groups for Good Governance, a civil society organization which staged a protest to force headquarters over the killings of police officers and other civilians in the just concluded legislative rerun election in Rivers State. He was represented by AIG Alkali Baba Usman. The group says the protest is to prevent subsequent electoral violence, which is also to preserve the nation's democracy from being truncated. The group emphasized that their concern is born out of a great sense of patriotism to Nigeria.
All other political violence. You have just heard that the IG has set up a special investigation team to look into all the cases, which INEC said they have about 70 in record. And anybody who has any useful information or to assist the investigation, he is welcome at any point in time.
For the second time in some months, Kafancha town in Kaduna State has been placed under 24-hour curfew by the local government following eruption of violence during a peace rally by some youths. Mohammed Abubakar reports.
The peace rally along some major streets in the town in the early hours of Monday was staged to protest the incessant eruption of violence in the area when it suddenly became violent, once again disrupting the relative peace in the area. It took the security operatives a hectic time to disperse the crowd, resulting to the imposition of the curfew by the local government council for fear of escalation. Kaduna State Police Commissioner Agiole Abi, who was among the early callers to assess the situation, who spoke off-camera, confirmed the incidents, other than that his men have restored normalcy. He also confirmed that no life was lost, but some people have sustained various degrees of injuries. Kafanchan town and some parts of southern parts of Kaduna State have of recent been in the news, owing to some clashes suspected to be sectarian, with some losses in lives and property. In Kaduna, Muhammad Abubakar, NTA News.
Lagos, the center of excellence, is where we are going to take our next story from, and Jennifer is our guide. Hello, Jennifer. It's over to you.
Good evening and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Customs Service has intercepted a container carrying arms and...
Madam, this is what you do, so you know good. If not you, first you put this motor, climb the sea, enter police station, go buy fuel. So I come first, go carry stone, say, this woman must give me money. Why this woman will help this woman push motor, they give me 15 naira. I said, they go. Now see the policeman, they run again, they come, just put anchor for my hand.
Oshani re-emphasized the need for members of the public to work closely with the police by furnishing them with relevant information about crimes and happenings around their areas. This, he says, will assist the police live up to expectation.
Within the past week, the command has been facing various challenges, security challenges, especially with regards of the activities of criminal elements that use the waterway as access route through which they get into the communities and escape.
18 vehicles, 15 different weapons, 1,085 various types of arms and ammunition were recovered from the suspects. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Investment in youths is one major step to fast-track the development of any nation, which will in turn promote economic prosperity. This was a submission of the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, at the 11th edition of the Future Africa Project Award in Lagos. Imeldori reports that not less than 21 young Nigerians who are making positive impact in various fields of endeavor were awarded.
The Future Africa project is a platform that recognizes and celebrates hard work, talent, and accomplishment in young people. Awards cuts across various categories of industry, including public service, music, fashion, professional service, arts and culture, business, and the media, where youths are turning the tide of bad news into good fortune for themselves and their communities. The keynote speaker and President-elect of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, said no nation can achieve any meaningful development without the active involvement of the youths. He noted that there are enormous talents in Africa that can be harnessed to grow the potential of the continent. Akufo-Addo advised government at all levels to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive, while addressing the issue of unemployment by putting in place the right policies.
Only by providing opportunities that open the future to all young people do we create a brighter future.
The event featured awards to young aspiring Nigerians who are making marks in various fields of endeavor.
It's one of those things where you work hard and you just pray that one day things will, go into fruition, and this is proof that working hard pays off.
When I left school, I was looking for that oil and gas job, but today I've created a company that actually trains people. So far, we've trained over 25 people, have them on payroll.
We've seen young people who we can, because of them, be confident and have faith in the future of our nation.
Since its inception in 2005, the Future Africa project has continued to celebrate promising leadership and entrepreneurial strides of Nigerian youths across all spheres.
Christmas is a season of joy, love, sharing, and a period when Christmas carols give special coloration to the environment. The Apostolic Faith Church is not left out of the mood of the season when the church choir and orchestra treated members and guests to Christmas concert in Lagos.
Members of the Apostolic Faith Church Choir and Orchestra performing at this year's Christmas concert. The District Superintendent of the Apostolic Faith, West and Central Africa, Reverend Emmanuel Adeniran, said, "It is a wonderful season when the birth of the Prince of Peace, Savior, Counselor, and King of Kings is celebrated." Several tunes were rendered with various musical instruments. Reverend Emmanuel Adeniran said that Nigerians need prayers and everlasting peace. He said that Nigerians should not lose faith as God has interest in Nigeria.
Something will happen if we all pull together, pray to God, and leave our old ways of not living a righteous life. Leave our corrupt ways.
Special guest at the event spoke to NTA News.
When God knows that people are singing with their hearts and with their strength, he will be there with them.
If all of us in Nigeria will be very diligent and hardworking, notwithstanding the financial reward that we receive, then we will take Nigeria far.
The annual event is a display of highly skilled musical performances to praise God for giving mankind his Son, Jesus Christ, to save humanity from sins. The Sign Language Department of the Apostolic Faith Church was not left out in the evening event.
Now, those are the top stories at this hour from Lagos. Back to Ronke in Abuja for more on Nationwide News.
Thank you, Jennifer. For the nation's vision of import substitution for economic diversification to be achievable, the need for Nigerians to have the courage to suffer a little for a prosperous future and have confidence in the government have been identified as necessary. These were the views of experts on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria today as they projected for the country towards 2017 in terms of trade and manufacturing. Omotola Omojola. Here's that report.
Identifying the challenges of the 2016 budget and the factors that contributed to inefficiency in implementation in the year outgoing, Guests on the program described as important import replacement, building enabling environment for private sector participation, and cost of energy for competitive production, among others.
Because it has become increasingly difficult for people to consume what is imported. So that created some opportunities. But again, in order to take advantage of the opportunities, the environment itself needs to be right for the manufacturers to be able to expand their scope and take advantage.
Import replacement in all spheres of our lives. One, government should also itself begin to look inward. The private sector should be looking inward, and the consumers should also be, proud that they want to use and consume locally made goods, because that's the way to generate jobs, and make our growth very inclusive.
The cost of power in running factories is enormous, and once that could be arrested, then Nigeria can produce competitively. We can even produce to export.
While agreeing on the opportunities that abound in import substitution, the guests were, however, divergent on the issue of tariff, looking at both the short, medium, and long-term effects.
The subject of tariffs is not an easy one. The normally ending objectives. As you have heard even during discussions today, some people want higher tariffs, some want lower tariffs. It's a delicate balancing act, but ultimately we expect to see a tariff regime that supports our objective.
The benefits of the success is recorded in the agricultural sector, and the need for states and local governments to complement the efforts of the federal government in the sector were also emphasized. In Abuja, Omotola Omojola, NT News.
The federal government says the resumed flight delays, cancellations and congestions at the airports are due to scarcity of aviation fuel. Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika appealed to members of the public for understanding as steps have been taken for short and long-term solutions. Edino Justice, here's the details.
Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika said the causes of the scarcity of Jet A1 are tied to factors such as forex exchange, import dependency on almost everything, which had put pressure on the naira. He appealed to the flying public that government had gone into discussions with stakeholders to ensure availability.
Petroleum importation as marketers, we discussed with them severally on how to resolve the issue. Central Bank has assured us that they will do the best they can to make foreign exchange necessary and available for our people, especially in this festive time. So also NNPC, they're working hard to ensure that for the long term that we have started to produce Jet A1 within the country.
On the report of closing down Abuja International Airport for the construction of a durable runway, he said that will be done early next year and Kaduna will be used as alternate airport for the 6 weeks it will last.
Now this is very necessary because runway is safety critical. It's something that must be fixed.
The minister assured the flying public that government is doing all within its power to ensure normalcy is restored. From Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Edino Justice, NTA News.
Thank you, Edino. And visiting the education sector now, the Minister of State Education, Professor Anthony Awuka, has said that all education interventions must be geared towards the national education development objectives. Professor Awuka stated this when he represented the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, at the Joint National Project Steering Committee meeting of federal and states investment and partnership projects. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
Nigerian Partnership for Education Project NIPIP and State Education Program Investment Project CPEP are education intervention programs supported by World Bank and Global Partnership for Education. The intervention is to address equity, quality and access to basic and secondary education in the country, but mostly in the north. The minister noted that in 6 months of operation, the projects have been able to record some remarkable progress, but that participating states and coordinators must not relent until the entire situation is changed positively.
I would like to reiterate here that the federal and state governments would give utmost attention to the issue of upsurge in school enrollment as reported by the consultants.
We are very, very pleased with what is happening today. It's a new turn in the
history of Federal Ministry of Education.
Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Folashade Ayemi, also said, though the briefs at the disposal of the ministry show that the programs are doing well, at present the effort in implementation is important, hence the need for the meeting. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Governor Otom speaks on love at Christmas. For details of this and other stories, we now join Pam in our Makurdi Network Center. Hello, Pam. Merry Christmas to you in advance.
Come to Makurdi. A total of 44 naval provosts and able regulators qualifying officers have graduated at the Nigerian Navy Provost Regulating School, Makurdi. John Yako reports that the 4-month course has 2 females among them.
The 44 graduates are made up of 17 naval officers and 27 regulator qualifying personnel. 9 of the officers came out with first class, while 8 had second class grades. In the able regulators qualifying course, 7 personnel came up with first class, 17 with second class. 4 of them had earlier been withdrawn on medical ground or act of indiscipline. Commandant of the Nigerian Navy Provost Regulatory School, Makurdi, Commodore Suleiman Ali Muhammad, congratulated the graduating officers and thanked the Benue State Governor on his efforts towards ensuring that the Nigerian Navy acquire its land at the North Bank area of Makurdi. Guest speaker at the occasion, who was represented by the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Adat Ududo, urged the graduates to be good ambassadors of the school. Some of the graduating officers gave glory to God for giving them the opportunity to acquire new skills to serve the nation. The regulating officers and qualifying regulators were presented with awards and naval regulators mufflers. In Makurdi, John Yaku, NTA News.
The Police Officers' Wives Association, POWA, Benue State Command, has put smiles on the faces of widows by donating food items to them to celebrate the Yuletide. Wife of the Commissioner of Police and Chairperson, POWA, Shepme Makama Dasup, who presented the items, said it is in the spirit of the season to remember the less privileged. Charles Abba reports.
You remember me and my family. May God remember you. The Almighty God bless us. And in my prayer, I pray, may Almighty God open way for me to play the children where their father lives.
Those were the words of appreciation by 2 of the beneficiaries, Elizabeth Ebono and Laddie David. An orphan whose situation POWA chairperson, Mrs. Shepme Makama, described as pathetic, also had a share of the food item. Mrs. Makama expressed the determination of the Police Officers' Wives Association to continue to make life meaningful for the needy.
Lost husband, some of these, like the boy lost his father and his mother, and times are hard. And those are the people that really need our assistance in society.
Mrs. Ejiga of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and Victoria Okefe of the Department of Petroleum Resources, Makurdi, lauded the good virtues of POWA. Police officers' children displayed their dancing talents. Many smiled home with assorted gifts from Father Christmas. The Police Officers' Wives Association has continued to cater for the welfare of its members and other charity works. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
In the spirit of Christmas, Benue youths have commenced a week-long activities with the
took the second reading. Various choir groups and gospel artists performed at the Carol Night. In Makurdi, Grace Ichepa, NTA News.
And that will be it from Makurdi. It's now back to Ronke for the rest of Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Pam. The federal government has commended the youths, elders and leaders of Akwa Ibom State for keeping the peace and refraining from vandalism of pipelines, oil and gas flows, as well as illegal exploration activities in the area. Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Ita Solomon Enang gave the commendation at the commissioning of erosion control project in Akwa Ibom State. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Reiterating that funds for development activities, including ecological intervention projects, comes from the Federation accounts funded largely on oil revenue, Senator Ita Enang urged the people of Eket to safeguard the project.
And so if oil does not flow, if oil is not produced and as much is not done, then you will not be able to have projects of this magnificent nature. And when there are causes for intervention, there may not be funds to intervene.
He also appealed to the community members to plant fruits and economic trees on recovered erosion sites in order to meet the food and economic needs of the people and the
innovative and can take Nigeria to the next level. Growing the economy starts with you and I. Raise the standard. Grow the economy. Buy Made in Nigeria.
This week on Tuesday Live, the 2017 budget proposals, what's in it, and expected benefits, plus state of affairs within the ECOWAS sub-region on peace and security, only on NTA. Tuesday Live, educative, informative, and analytical. And be told, join us.
My community have asked me to be the chairman of their emergency luncheon.
How much of money are you carrying to village? You speak English, you know drop money.
Give us 100 million naira. Oh. If you don't have it, go back. Oh. Flash. What is the name of your village? Obama, something like that. Obama is what you're calling Obama, a lost cause.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Ime Bishop.
I just came in from USA, United States of Aba.
If you was gave me money to palm my head, I was grief for you.
Palm your head.
I was needed to look beautifully this is Christmas.
I don't have money to palm your head.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Time.
We made 2016 great. Together we shall make 2017 even greater. That's why we say thank you. Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year.
Glad to know you're still watching nationwide on NTA Network Service. Creating sustainable primary healthcare financing was the focus of the second annual Primary Healthcare Services Lecture of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. One of the recommendations at the lecture is that immediate appropriation should be made for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund as contained in the National Health Act by the federal, states, and local governments. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has the report.
Experts and advocates of health have said at various fora that one of the issues preventing quality healthcare delivery in Nigeria and the achievement of universal health coverage is as a result of the inadequate general government expenditure on health. This is in the face of high out-of-pocket spending on healthcare services. The National Health Act, which had been in existence for the past 3 years but yet to be implemented, represents the first attempt to provide legislative clarification and funding sources to support primary health care. The Minister of Health was represented at the lecture.
There's a need to understand the challenges and possibilities of implementing the appropriate blend of health financing strategies that will underpin our goal of a sustainable primary health care program.
What we have now is an unsustainable, ineffective, and inefficient way of financing the system, an inequitable way. And it will never lead this country to achieve any reasonable health outcomes if we continue this way.
Technical team will be put together to bring out the action points that emanate from this lecture, and a plan of action for implementing the key recommendations will be put in place, and strategy for implementation will be deployed. And we are very optimistic that this will help. It will help Nigeria.
Being the closest to the community, findings show that when primary healthcare systems are strong, they reach every community and can manage as high as 90% of people's diverse health needs. Awards were given to some Nigerians for their contributions and support to primary health care. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
Governor Okowa of Delta State speaks on malaria and other tropical diseases as chief security officers confer with Oba of Benin. These and other stories from Benin with Obey standing by. Take it away, Obey.
Care. Good evening. Welcome to Benin. Malaria and other tropical diseases in Nigeria will be tackled head-on if a holistic approach is adopted in the prevention and control. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa expressed this when he received the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, on a courtesy visit. Ifeoma Okafo reports.
The federal government malaria eradication program in Delta State has distributed 1,744,104 insecticide-treated mosquito nets. The former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, who led South-South Advocacy Group on the control of malaria and other neglected tropical diseases to Delta State, also said the program is still being challenged by adequate logistics and low level of financial and political support from both the state and local governments. He solicited the support of the state government to make the program a success.
What I saw of our people in the rural areas, the suffering that it causes them, that was why I'm fully committed.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa commended General Yakubu Gowon for his commitment to the project and assured the group of the administration's unwavering support to assist in its implementation. Ifeoma Okafo, NTA News.
The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewa II, has joined security agencies in the state to check the nefarious activities of some youths in the communities. He gave the charge when he received the new Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 5, Mohammed Adamu, and the Commander for Brigade Headquarters, General Ibrahim Garuba, in his palace. Ivie Omori completes the report.
His reign seeks to promote peace in the Benin Kingdom. Therefore, maximum cooperation among security agencies is needed to ensure law and order. He said the quest to get rich quick on the part of some youths in the state has caused a lot of havoc. The monarch also appealed to the Brigadier General to ensure that a lot is done in order to curb the activities of militants.
I think to be also wise for the federal government to also adopt diplomatic channels of negotiation.
It's very important to pay a courtesy visit to the king so that we can also get the cooperation of the people of Edo State so as to collectively fight crime.
I came to do my work to the best of my ability, taking cognizance of traditions and ethics of the people of this state.
Mohammed Adamu is the 20th AIG Zone 5 and Brigadier General Ibrahim Garuba is the 37th Commander of 4 Brigade Headquarters. In Benin, Ivie Omori, NTA News.
And still on security, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Eteibas, has challenged the under-training ratings graduates of the Naval Engineering College, Sapele, to bring to bear the wide spectrum of knowledge acquired in the operation of the Nigerian Navy. He gave the charge during the passing out parade of 127 graduates of the under-training ratings of the college. Steve Luna Wonkulu has details.
Commandant of the college, Rear Admiral Durojaye Ajatoye, and the Chief Staff Officer, Navy Logistics Command, Rear Admiral Dogara Abehu. The Chief of Naval Staff said the engineering college, which was established since 1982, produces middle manpower naval personnel in various fields of engineering to fit into the operations of the Nigerian Navy.
I also urge you to continue to take your future assignments very seriously to justify the adequate training you have received in the college. The confidence therefore reposed in you must not be taken for granted, especially at this time that our Nigerian aspirations are being threatened.
The graduates were presented with certificates, and best graduating students were also presented with awards. They speak on the significance of the training.
I actually know that it's not by power for me to come out as the best overall. I thank Almighty God, in short, for everything that happened today.
They are so much enjoying the course. Everything was perfect.
After spending the 6 months and passing through rigorous training and academic to emerge one of the best in the class, I would say I'm very, very happy, sir.
From the college campus here in Sapele, Steve Lona in Waukolo, NTA News.
And that's our package from Benin. Ronke, it's over to you now for the rest of Nationwide News.
Thank you, Obehi. A two-day workshop that will further strengthen the information mechanism of the National Youth Service Corps NYSC scheme for swift response to public demands has begun in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports that the workshop has in attendance NYSC Freedom of Information Act desk officers from across the country.
A few years ago, the clamor for the passage of Freedom of Information Act by stakeholders was like a dream that will never come true. Today, the dream is a reality. Its importance to public accountability and equal treatment of all people under the rule of law gave rise to the theme of the workshop, FOI Act 2011 and Implementation Challenges.
There are instances where you can't release certain classes of information, and that is protected in the Freedom of Information Act too. So I think it's more or less the challenge has been people, coming from a culture of secrecy to a culture of openness. That's the problem we have more in the civil service.
Director General NYSC, Brigadier General Sule Kazauri, represented by the Director of Community Development Service, Rhoda Kakakwaki, urged the FOI Act desk officers to make information within their reach open as quick as possible to people. The NYSC boss also noted that government is committed to the fight against corruption and promotion of the rule of law, which is fundamental to good governance.
Priority attention should now be given to proper record keeping, probity and accountability in the management of resources and adherence to the due process in the conduct of our operation.
The Freedom of Information Act has been in force since 2011. In Abuja, Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Time now to join Port Harcourt Network Center for the outcome of the Eminent Persons Forum hosted by the city and other stories. Dibabari is our newscaster. Hello, Dibabari. It's good to see you.
Good evening, Ronke, and welcome to Port Harcourt. Governor Nyesom Wike says execution of development project remains the thrust of his administration. He was speaking while conducting some journalist round projects located at Rivers East and Rivers West senatorial districts. Ike Chukundukwe has details.
Conducting newsmen round some ongoing projects in the state, Governor Wike said his administration is focused on spreading development across 3 senatorial districts of the state. The inspection tour covered Federal High Court complex being funded by River State government, Ozuobaru-Mogbali Road, Igbeche Chokocho Umweche Mozuzu Road, and Olakpo Afranihi Road. Others are the reconstructed Chokochi Grita Road, dualization of Sakbenwabori Road, reconstruction of Obirikwere Airport Road, reconstruction of Alo Road, Birabi Memorial Grammar School, and Government Girls Secondary School, Rumokuta. Commenting on the inspection, Commissioner of Works and his education counterpart explained that all contractors are compelled to respect project templates to ensure the durability of projects. For the journalist, the performance of Governor Wike within a short period of time is commendable. In Port Harcourt, Ikechukundukwe, NTA News.
President of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Reverend Felix Omobude, is appealing to the people of Rivers, especially the political class in Rivers State, to unite and give peace a chance, putting behind issues connected to the rerun elections. Dr. made the appeal during his initial visit to his church, Gospel Light International Ministry, New Covenant Gospel Church in Port Harcourt. Ifeoma Mesa has the details.
Dr. Felix Omobude, who is the General Superintendent of New Covenant's Gospel Church, during his visits to the church, advised political leaders and citizens of Rivers State to maintain peaceful disposition after the election and pursue general development of the good of the state and the people.
The church remains in prayer that the day will come that election.
I said, thank God that the blessings we will receive and which we have received this evening, it will be for the peace of the state.
Guest preacher Pastor Enoch Adeboye expounded on 5 names of Jesus Christ: Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace, stressing that all the names have distinctive powers.
Jesus Christ is the wisdom of God himself. It is the wisdom of God that surely is wiser than any man.
The 2 lessons of the carol was taken by the governor and his deputy. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onya, NTA News.
The executive members of the Eminent Persons Forum Bayelsa State Chapter have been inaugurated in Yanagua. Commissioner of Police, who performed the inauguration, advised the other members to work towards partnering the police to fight crime in the state. Doris Akumoye has details.
The Eminent Persons Forum is an initiative of the Inspector General of Police to get eminent citizens involved in policing and in supporting the police to fight crime in their communities. Inaugurating the 10-member executive committee, the Commissioner of Police Bayelsa State, Adeyemi Ogunjemisola, said it is a desire of the IGP to bring on board top echelons of the society to partner with the police in the maintenance of law and order. The CP said members are a dependable ally in resolving problems of crime and conflict, share information, be accountable, and support police with logistics to carry out their job effectively.
To establish partnership with very important persons, men and women, who have achieved success in their endeavors.
Representative of the Governor and the Special Advisor on Security, Bomos Parojak, appreciated the police for the initiative. He disclosed that the state government has allocated land for the building of a befitting police headquarters.
We must support the steps taken to build, to secure, to make life.
That's all we can take from Port Harcourt Network Center. And talking sports now, Katsina United set for 2016-2017 Nigeria Professional Football League season as FIFA hands Chile a 3rd stadium ban for fans' homophobic chant. Kene Hemagudike brings us details on Sports Update.